Hey guys, welcome to another episode. We've got a very special one for you today. We are joined by Jacob, community lead of NBA Top Shot. We've got a really fun conversation with him. We're also going to go over the 9 Lives Lounge and the fandom tier, that and heaps more. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so before we get into the chat with Jacob, we've got to go over this new 9 Lives Lounge, which is epic in its utility. So for nearly 3,000 people that have collected all of the moments in the Cool Cats Master Challenge set, they are getting exclusive access to the 9 Lives Lounge. And straight away, they were giving a Seeing Stars pack, a Cool Cats pack, and a base set Series 2 pack. The blog has a little bit of a tease from this Infinity Objects display, and then it goes on to explain that this group will get exclusive access to this lounge, which will have an exclusive conversation with an NBA star, an open discussion with Top Shot's GM Tristan Rentink, the first community chat with David Fieldman, the SVP of Marketing at Dapper Labs, for a chance to pick his brain and share ideas, a Q&A with Rome and a private Q&A support channel, a Q&A with Rome and a private 9 Lives Lounge support channel for this group. There is also going to be a raffle for these guys to win a jersey every single day until the start of the next NBA season. I mean, I know a lot of them made their own jerseys, but more jerseys to come for these guys. In future, they're also going to get access to new Top Shot merch and an Infinity Objects display. All of that's pretty cool for the guys and girls that have gone through the Cool Cats Master Challenge. And I mean, there was a market reaction. So the total market cap, the amount of transactions, the buyers, the sellers, they're all up today. The Cool Cat set itself has gone from about $3,000 to over $5,500. LaMelo himself was at about $1,400 at one point for lowest ask. And now his lowest ask is somewhere around $3,100, the previous price of the set. We knew this was coming. They knew they wanted this to be the Soho Lounge of NBA Top Shot, but it doesn't stop the market from reacting once it becomes actually official. But it wasn't just Cool Cats that got a reaction. Seeing Stars, the complete set has gone from $1,000 to $1,400, and the Rising Stars set a while ago was looking at $2,700 to complete. Now he's looking at $4,400 to complete. So everything is getting a bit of a lift at the moment. Twitter went nuts for this and it was a lot of fun. NBA Top Shot Updates also had another announcement in that individual moment listing price has now increased to $1 million. All collectors who have completed their identity check can now deposit up to $500,000 in cryptocurrency each day. So it was a really fun day today, and somewhere in between the Metallic Gold Ali Challenge 33 having a slight issue between only having 8 moments instead of 9, excluding LaMelo Ball, and all the crazy 9 Live stuff that happened after that, Jacob found the time to talk to me. So let's get into that chat right now. Jacob, man, thanks so much for meeting me virtually in person to be here. I'm really super excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I've been a fan of your show since you started it, and it's long overdue. So excited to make my first appearance, first of many, I hope.
Oh, that'd be unreal. Thank you. So I wanted to quickly touch on free agency. You're a massive Knicks fan. How are you feeling after the season so far that it is?
Yeah, so the offseason, my takeaway is I think the Knicks are in a different position than 95% of the league, right? And by that, I mean, being the 7 seed as the Knicks means you're always in contention for the next superstar free agent. Like, I think that's just the reality. If you're if you're the Hornets or the Pacers chasing the 7 seed, not that much interest, right? Because there's no upside. Like, you're in that treadmill of mediocrity. The Knicks have been bad for a while outside of last year, and we had a bunch of top 10 picks, right, from Frank Ntilikina, obviously KP, not in sequential order there, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, all of those were top 10 picks. I think the only one that you can say with certainty has worked out for us has been RJ Barrett. KP was a good pick, but didn't work out culturally for what we were building. So for us, I think there's a lot of appeal in just putting together a competent playoff team. They don't need to be a championship contender. I don't think they are a championship contender. But I think we look at what we did against the Hawks, and it was clear we were outclassed. And there was a lot of strain on Derrick Rose and Julius Randle to create all of the offense on every possession. Going into next season, feels like Evan Fournier can create a little more. Kemba Walker, I'm very excited about. I think there's a good 25% chance that Kemba Walker returns to Charlotte Hornets Kemba Walker form, which would be unbelievable. Not not putting money on it, but I think there's a chance. Like similar to when Chris Paul left the Rockets and went to OKC, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Chris Paul is really good." I don't know why we were so down on him for 6 months.
Yeah. But in the playoffs, like there was too much. Hey, Randall, quickly do something, and he wasn't quite up to that. And Kemba Walker, whilst he's not a Kyrie Irving, he can alleviate a lot of that.
I think so, and I think Fournier had a career year from shooting.
Fournier.
Yeah, and like I'm still very bullish on Quickly. So the only thing I'd lament to all of this is like I was really excited when we signed Luca Vildoza at the end of the season to be like a kind of Argentinian unknown point guard who had done really well in Spain. I was excited about Quickly getting more minutes. I think Alec Burks, we signed him, and I think he'll still be a trade asset because at 2 years, 20 with that third-year team option, I think you can trade him for a late first rounder potentially. Overall, I like what we did. I'm still curious. I think there's one big kind of chess move to make, so to speak, because Mitchell Robinson, it's unclear whether he's a part of our long-term future. A little unclear about Kevin Knox. It doesn't seem like Frank Ntilikina is coming back. So it'll be interesting. But overall, I'm happy that we are likely going to be in the playoffs again. I expect a little bit of a regression to the mean from Randall. I don't think he'll be a second-team All-NBA guy this year.
Yeah.
But he's still young, so maybe I'm being a little unfair. Maybe he does maintain that elite stardom, but we'll see.
And he works hard and has a drive, so you can't necessarily teach that more than other players. But so you're not allowed to sort of trade at the moment as a Dapper employee, but if you were to be able to trade on the platform, how would you have fun on Top Shot? Would you like complete all the Knicks sets, or stack Emmanuel Quickly's, RJ Barrett's? How would you have fun?
Yeah, this is a good question that I need to answer politically to not get myself in trouble. I'm not as big of a completionist when it comes to sets. That was not how I collected when I was able to collect. I'm much more after moments from history that I think are going to go down as historic moments. So examples of that are milestone moments from rookies that kind of pop off the page as like definitive. That's the moment from their rookie year that was important. And then, of course, I think, you can't ever go wrong with some future Hall of Famers doing what they do best. So if that's a LeBron James dunk, if that's a Steph Curry 3, if that's a Chris Paul assist, I think the zeitgeist is how I would collect. I would collect around kind of moments that my great-grandchildren one day will be able to be like, oh, that's what Chris Paul excelled at. That's what LeBron James excelled at, so to speak.
Yeah. I agree, and that's why I really like the playoff set. I mean, you're seeing the DVDs in the background. That's what I sort of think about in Top Shot. There's some sort of potential merger there of where you can collect the history and have it as opposed to have it as a DVD and so on. But so Series 2 is over, so it's an interesting time to talk to you. It's like literally over today.
Right.
How are you going to remember Series 2?
Oh, boy. Easily the most chaotic... how many months? It was a lot of months. Easily the most chaotic 9-10 months of my life. Like I was always the friend in my friend group that was hyper responsive, not flaky at all, very reliable. And in the course of these months, I've kind of become the friend that no one could get in touch with and is kind of always MIA. I check my phone, I check my email, I check my messages from work. I'm always just on this treadmill falling behind. There's never like getting to breaking even there. So the texts, like I'll literally check my phone right now just to give you a sense. Yeah, I'm looking at 118 unread texts, and like it has not been under 100 in months.
Wow. I completely understand then. If Jacob doesn't answer your DMs, let's everyone give him some space and back off a little bit, because
the DMs are scary because like there's no mark unread. Like with email, I can mark it unread and I can always come back to with my messages at work. I can mark it as unread.
Flag it. So utility has been a word that's it's been thrown around, used a lot. You guys have made massive steps in regards to utility. finals NBA, the NBA draft, summer league coming up, and I feel like you guys are just getting started.
Yeah, I think we always knew that we could be the missing bridge between fans and their favorite teams, their favorite players, and their favorite sport. So by creating access events like this that are unbuyable, you as a collector, you're inspired to collect, and you can now look at that conversation with all the naysayers in your DMs or your friends that don't understand NFTs, and you have tangible examples of collecting these. It's not only fun because I get to own the best moments from history. It's not only fun because I can kind of treat my collection as my fantasy roster, where I can buy, sell, and collect around the players I love that I think are going to perform well. But last but not least, you can also look at it almost like an airline loyalty program now, where the moments that you're buying, those have a tangential relationship to something big, a flagship event in the NBA season, that having X number of those moments will give you an opportunity to get selected for an unbuyable experience like the Phoenix Suns, like the NBA draft, like what we're doing out in Summer League.
Yeah, beautiful. And so I'd be remiss to not ask this. So being from Australia, people ask me all the time, if you win the contest, are you going to go to the game? I've got many Top Shot friends in Europe and other places, and the truth is many people can't travel. That world hasn't opened up to them. Right. So is there, I guess, consideration for utility for international collectors?
Yeah, so with these contests, we are leaving the door open for international collectors. In fact, one of the collectors will be joining us from, I believe, Singapore in Las Vegas. And we flew them out early so that they can quarantine in time to be able to, participate in the festivities of Summer League. But for collectors that are unable to make it, we do offer a consolation prize. Needless to say, the consolation prize is exactly that. It is a consolation. It is not as good as the real thing, but maybe a rare pack, maybe some Dapper Balance, different kind of remedies like that. But for sure, like you, like everyone, I for one can't wait for the world to reopen, for the world to be a safer place, for it to become a little bit more international again, so that collectors can come to the United States and not have to worry about quarantines and not have to worry about getting tested left and right to be able to enjoy these experiences.
But I think there's also a lot that you can offer in terms of digital, merch gets brought up a lot as well. That doesn't necessarily require people to fly everywhere as well.
Sure.
I don't know. There's huge opportunity for you as well to share the love in many ways, I think.
Yeah. So PlayerCon, a good example of that, right?
Yeah.
This is a digital first experience where collectors will get to ask questions to Bogdan Bogdanovic and Marvin Bagley, and there will be some other great players involved with that. Some Top Shot collectors will even get to play in a 2K tournament that some NBA stars will be a part of. So that's all very exciting. But yeah, absolutely. I think digital experiences, fan meetups, all of those good things. And frankly, I think we're just scratching the surface of what kind of IRL community could be. So if you, for example, Steve, wanted to be a ambassador to Australia, and we can give you some money to rent out a pub for the night, like that's something that we would absolutely be open to.
Now you're speaking our language by offering all these sorts of things. Ambassador, pub, like good sentence. A lot of people say sentences like, Top Shot should do this, or why don't we do that? And I wanted to ask this in case nobody thought to and flipping on that. I don't mean like jump $500 into the platform, but what would help on our part as collectors, as Top Shot community, to help the platform succeed long term? Yeah,
I think you said it, long term. So looking at your account value on a day-to-day basis, that does no one any good, right? And I'm saying that today, like we're having a good week, right? Like I was saying this in March when prices were at a much different place. Don't collect Top Shots to get rich. If you're collecting Top Shots to get rich, you're going to leave disappointed because that's not the product we're building. We are building a product that is supposed to introduce millions of NBA fans to blockchain technology. And within Top Shot, I think there are almost 2 or 3 different routes that you as a collector can take. You can collect common moments. The common moments are going to be intended to be common. So if there are 30,000, 40,000 LeBron Jameses, our intention is not for every LeBron James moment to hit Top Shot and guaranteed make you hundreds or thousands of dollars. Our intention is for a LeBron James super fan who's coming from Australia or Europe or Asia, come to Top Shot. You can get your first LeBron James moment and it won't break your bank. You can put $20 down and you have a moment from NBA history that you can really appreciate. And I think there's something really powerful to that. So I would say that's one lane. And then the other lane is if you want to collect rare, you want to collect legendaries, those have a built-in scarcity as LEs that those will always be super scarce. So that's an approach. If you want to collect the most epic moments, that Giannis block on Aiden in the finals, only 120 of those will ever be in existence. So if you want that, that's your way to get that. And you can look at that as a collector as a opportunity to have a long-term approach to Top Shot collecting, where you can just sit on that for a long time. And you think as more NBA fans come to Top Shot, that moment, might be even more valuable to someone else. But then you can also collect rares, which shouldn't break your pockets necessarily, but also have that scarcity layer to it.
That's an interesting segue to the fandom tier as well, which targets fans who attend the events in person with moments that they witness live.
So I do want to take this opportunity to clarify. It's not exclusively that. This is kind of like a square within a rectangle. All in arena moments are that square within a rectangle, but the rectangle that is the fandom tier, if we were to do the gift all over again, for example, that set, the gift, that would fall under fandom tier.
Yeah.
Any quest rewards from the off season with historical moments, those will likely fall under the fandom tier. Things like that are all parts of the fandom tier. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. And I think this is what I like to do, simplify things for people. But this could be a key factor in making waves and gaining mainstream adoption from avid NBA fans during the next season, it seems.
Absolutely. We're excited to test it out at Summer League. Natural logic to think that only the most ravenous of NBA fans show up at Summer League to watch their 9th, 10th, and 11th men of their favorite team star out for a Summer League roster. So the ability to have collectors in Vegas that are nerding out on the NBA, learning about Top Shot for the first time at the arena, I'm very excited about that. And I don't think we're going in with any illusions that it's going to be perfect the first time around. There's friction points. We know those, but we need to learn those and get more data before we're able to, fully commit to this as a long-term approach. But something I'm super excited about and something that, frankly, you couldn't have with trading cards. Yeah,
absolutely. Will moments ever evolve in design? So if you ever look at any brand that has, any sort of brand, after 5 years or something, they'll change or update their brand. So will moments always look like the square and reopen? Will they sometimes have microphones that you might put into arenas or Top Shot only cameras? It might be 10 years down the line or whatever, but will there ever be a brand refresh, or will those cubes always look the same? Is there any thought process around that?
It's a good question. 2 words I am very reluctant to ever say are always and never. So I would say there's always a chance that the cube does change over time. I can say that there's no immediate plans to do changes to the cube.
We sort of touched on mainstream adoption. Is things like collector score too confusing for new collectors?
It's a fair question. I think that there are layers to collector score that we will need to simplify. And I think The crux of the issue right now is we built Collector Score as an experiment, and I would classify the experiment as successful. It's clear that our community enjoys collecting and strategizing and gamifying the Collector Score approaches. But we have not integrated Collector Score into the UI beyond kind of the Collector Score page. So for example, when you open up a pack, we're giving you all of these stats about what your best pull was and the moments that you pulled and the serial numbers involved and which sets those moments belong to. There's nothing in that UI about how many Collector Score points you gained. When you go to the marketplace and you're scrolling through and you see the price of a moment, there's nothing telling you this moment will get you X number of Collector Score points to your total, right? So those are things that we know we need to build now that we like what Collector Score has done. But I think without those intuitive to the product, it is a very steep learning curve for someone to understand. We see it all the time, right? Anytime you check out at Amazon or wherever, there is a confirmation page that you checked out and you did something successfully. We have some of that, right? We tell you successfully ordered it. We send you an email letting you know your purchase has been complete. But we have not done anything around Collector Score with that. And I think that's important. One of the smartest people I ever worked with at a previous company, he said the single most important development to the computer was the progress bar. When the progress bar came, everyone was finally understanding of how much time it would take them to work through an onboarding and work through a progression flow. So I think we can do a lot of progress barring to our product so a collector can understand their path to exclusive drops and high Collector Score and set bonuses, all those great things.
Yeah, and I often think about what challenges we face sort of like to communicate and make it more adoptable like that. But also part of Collector Score, what it reminds me of is like home loans are complicated and they have home loan calculators and things like that. And there's possibly easy wins like progress bars and hey, you've got 8 out of 10 moments. Did you know you'd get a Collector Score of X if you picked up these other two, maybe small things. It sounds easy in my head, but it's obviously complicated for guys that actually develop it. But
well, there's also the layer there where we have Collector Score and set bonuses, but then for each drop, we have specific drop bonuses. And that's because we have not yet figured out a perpetual Collector Score strategy that we're quite satisfied with. So these drop bonuses account for X, Y, and Z, but because they're variable from drop to drop, it adds another layer of kind of friction to that new collector. But I think these are things that we know about and can solve for pretty intelligently.
But the major point, I guess, is also it was a massive step in the right direction, as opposed to, what it was, I guess, say 3 months ago, which was completely different. It gave you a clear view of where you stood. So what excites you the most about Dapper and Top Shot moving forward?
It's a great question. Breaking new ground, creating an entirely new way for NBA fans to connect with their favorite sport. Like that's unbelievable as an opportunity on its face, and to be able to live that and get to experience seeing that day to day is tremendously exciting. We work with some of the just most brilliant people I'll ever meet, and I'm blessed and humbled to work with. And I think we have great leadership in Roham and Arthur and Tristan, Alan, some great members of the team that have a really kind of great understanding. They've been there, they've done that with other games, with CryptoKitties, with other great businesses and projects. So getting to just kind of see their vision and help execute to the best of my ability is also very exciting. I would say, last but not least, this is the 5th startup. Yeah, I've worked for 5 startups, and this is the one that I think takes the collectors and the community feedback to heart the most earnestly. And sometimes that feedback and those issues are not kind of one-day fixes. Some days, some of those issues are not 1 week fixes. Some of them are not 1 month fixes. But we're always working on things in the background that we think the community will enjoy and make the collector experience better. And I think you see those fairly regularly, right? Even minor tweaks around the edges we're coming out with on a weekly cadence. So I think we're only going to continue to do that. And we're starting to kind of catch our footing and find our groove, so to speak, with, we can tackle all of these projects. It wasn't that long ago where, I was hitting tweet, I was sending the emails, I was in the Discord, and now we have a team around me. So I can do all of those things, or I can have others do those things. And in the background, we're also launching PlayerCon and Summer League, and we're coordinating an unbelievable experience for those who join us at Summer League. Maybe they'll get to meet players, all these different things that 2 months ago, they seemed far-fetched. They seemed like they were a year out, but we move fast. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So before I let you go and hold up the high-profile person that's probably waiting for you, I couldn't leave without saying a few things. So I live in Southeast Australia, and I don't want to talk about COVID, but we've entered another lockdown here, and I know a lot of people are in the same situation. You're the community lead, and I know many others are grateful for this community, which has come along at sort of like the perfect time, in this world predicament, in terms of us being able to engage daily on something amidst the chaos and whatever else is going on. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you, because I know a lot of us are grateful for this. And so look, I just wanted to say thank you that you've given us a lot to obsess over creating content around Top Shot now. It seems silly that people watch, let alone follow and have the opportunity to talk to you. And you mentioned utility, being on stream with Harrison Barnes a month ago, or whatever it was. So I just want to say thank you for giving a lot of people this sort of outlet to be passionate about, and for being here as well and making that time.
Steve, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I know you're having some technical issues today, but you've powered through like a champ, and you've been an unbelievable kind of member of our community, an exemplar of just kind of positivity and passion for basketball. And, it's just unbelievably exciting and cool to see. We are thousands upon thousands of miles from each other right now, but we can connect like we're good friends because we both share a lot of interests, and we both can nerd out on, what makes Evan Fournier's contract good or bad for the Knicks, or we can both nerd out on why that metallic gold moment is more special than that Cool Cats moment, or whatever the case may be.
No, that's perfect. And look, I'll let you go. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to chatting to you again, and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Steve. We'll talk soon, and we'll do another one of these when we're not as pressed for time and your tech situation is a little
it's
less
just a battery
for you.
It's just a silly little battery, and I should have had it sorted. But I blame the first Mint Fest.
Yeah, man, they're the worst. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to clip that.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, my friend. You have a good one.
You too, man. Cheers. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you got any value out of this video, please consider liking and or subscribing. We have a live Q&A coming up with Top Shot Talk. If you want to get involved in that and lots more discussion, feel free to join our joint Discord below. In the description, you will find the link, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great day. See ya.